As the Ashes of 4 years ago rolled on, there was talk about whether it might feature the worst Australian side to dish out a favouriteist whitewash. 4 years later, the same question has arisen about the current team. It's understandable how an England supporter could look at the patchy careers of the Marsh brothers, the Hail Mary pick of Tim Paine, the untested Cameron Bancroft, the injury histories of the fast bowlers, and the fact Peter Handscomb was discarded, and ask how the hell this lot has managed to beat their team. The glow of retrospect makes the class of 201,314 champions, but before the series that team had more question marks than the Riddler's leotard. David Warner was a loose unit back from suspension. Shane Watson was slated for being unreliable and was batting first drop. Chris Rogers was questioned for longevity, Steve Smith was unproven, George Bailey played cameos, Brad Haddin was a happy slasher. Mitchell Johnson, the eventual destroyer, was the most erratic of all. Ryan Harris was held together with baling wire, Peter Siddle was unfairly cast as a plodder, Nathan Lyon was perennially unsure. Perception, it turns out, doesn't often tell the story. Here we are, a new team bar Lyon, Warner, and Smith. But the first 3 tests have gone the same way as last time. The Ashes regained by Perth, thumping margins of victory, an England team unsure of how to even begin getting one over Australia. So how did this happen? What we're witnessing is something special on 2 counts. The first is the solitary batsman operating at a level of achievement with little precedence. When Smith comes to the crease these days, big runs are an assumption rather than a possibility. When he went to stumps at 92 not out in Perth, the overnight discussion was about his double or triple century, not anything so mundane as 3 figures. "I've been lucky enough to see all of his Test hundreds," said his coach Darren Lehmann. Seeing him evolve from the first Test 100 at the Oval to now, he just changes his own plans according to what the bowlers are doing and what the wicket's doing, and what the game needs. He's gone to another level. For all the Bradman comparisons, Smith could justifiably share the Don's newspaper headline "He's out." His dismissal in itself is now news. He makes a century almost every second Test he plays. His average is the second best in history. It's not just dominance in the game, it's dominance in presence. The last individual batsman to draw such focus was probably Brian Lara in the 1990s. But he had a sense of being under siege, making up for inadequate teammates. Perhaps this makes his achievements more laudable, but Smith's are more effective. Where Lara had his back to the wall, Smith can advance. Steve Smith has been imperious at the crease this Ashes series. Photograph Paul Canna Getty images he can because of an asset few have had. The other special thing we're seeing in this series is a 3-part bowling attack combining genuine quality with genuine pace. Patrick Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and Josh Hazlewood have devastated. On the first day at Perth, they had the fastest average bowling speed as a trio since records were kept. Of course the great West Indies attacks of yesteryear would have competed, but few since. Smith was right to single them out after the win, because he's been able to bat in the full confidence that his teammates will do a job. Our bowlers, to take 20 wickets in every game, we haven't won or toss, we've probably had the toughest of the conditions to bowl in. The 3 quicks and Nathan Lyon have done a fantastic job to take 60 wickets over the last 3 games. It was telling that Smith also praised his medical staff, who kept the injury-prone Starc and Cummins together through 3 Test wins. People love to beat up on sports scientists and medical management when players are rested or injured, but they made a lot of moves over the last couple of years to ensure these bowlers would be primed for the Ashes. James Pattinson was the other one they wanted ready 3 out of 4 isn't bad. It's compelling when you consider what these players go through. Fast bowling is hard work, says Jason Gillespie. We just see big blokes bang it in and challenge the speed gun. We don't see Starc worry about breaking his foot again as he lands 8 times his body weight. We don't see Pattinson going to New Zealand to have his back fused. We don't see Cummins doing rehab for so long he had time to get a university degree. You take a thoroughbred like the latter and ask him to bowl bounces all day. It's tough. The other key is Lyon, enabling fast bowlers to operate at max effectiveness by controlling the other end. England's spinner Moeen Ali has contained no one. At the same time, Lyon makes his own danger. He leads the world for wickets this year, with 60 and a Test to come. In the comparisons to 201,314, an interesting one is that all 100 wickets fell in a 5-Test series for the first time. This time, we're on track to see it again. Around Smith and his bowlers, the others have filled necessary gaps. Everyone has contributed at least one score. Lehmann's take on his panel's controversial selections was typically simple. We were just going with gut feel, to be perfectly honest, and really pleased for the players that they turned up and played really well. It means the resulting success involved good fortune more than canniness. But all the many varied shades of selection debates before the event become monochromed down to the starkest black and white afterwards. The choices either worked or they didn't. Now that the job is done, you may see a loosening of approach in Melbourne and Sydney. It's a lot more relaxed, which is a good thing, said Lehmann. Ashes cricket is high pressure, everybody is nervous every ball, every session. It's been that way for 15 days so far, so they can go and express themselves a little bit more. We'll be playing the same brand of cricket, but obviously with less pressure on us. It'll be interesting to see how we respond to that. If this team was a motley collection, that pressure has molded them into something cohesive. It will be interesting to see whether a release allows the individual components to flourish or prompts them to come apart. This group may not be so concerned about a whitewash as their vengeful counterparts from 4 years earlier. But they certainly want more players who can influence games on the regular. That period of development starts now.